Thank you very much. I know you ladies are very tired, so I'll try to be very efficient. I brought a presentation, but after listening to the panel, I said I'll just speak from the heart. Thank you, Yvonne, and thank you to everybody. I love the last panel. So Owen and I have a connection. Our children brought us together. And seeing her on the stage, I'm so proud of her. Well done, my dear. I see great things in your future. So I'll just tell a snippet of my story because I think you've heard a lot of the messages I was going to share. And there's no point repeating all the great insights the ladies have shared. I grew up in Enugu. I'm a very proud Enugu girl. And left Nigeria when I was 16. And I have to say that this concept of power, passion, and purpose is really rooted in my faith in God. I became a Christian at a very young age. And why it's important is because I didn't grow up in a Christian home. So if you have to sneak out to go to church, you already have purpose. From an early age, you're kind of being punished for not going to church instead of studying on a Sunday. Because my parents are intellectuals, but they didn't believe in, organized religion. And so I became somebody who was very, very focused on fulfilling God's plan for my life from a very young age. And I think that's a blessing because it keeps you very, very focused. And I think many times in this context, and I appeal to young women in Nigeria, it's so easy to get distracted. So my first message to you is stay in your lane. Can you tell your neighbor, stay in your lane? If you look at Owen's story, if you look at my story, you'll see that you don't look at anybody else. You don't compare yourself with anybody else. You don't even try to say, oh, they're doing better. I always tell people the most popular people in my high school are not the most successful today. The same in university. Some of the people who got married first are not the happiest in their marriage. The people who had children first tell me what they're going through. So never, never compare yourself to anybody else. In Igbo, we have a proverb which says, the day you wake up is your morning. So you can start at any pace, anywhere, to achieve your highest potential. So stay focused and stay in your lane. That's the first message. Now, the second message is really around excellence. You build a brand based on excellence. If you look at the way I have lived my life, many people say, Efiko. You know what Efiko is? What's the other slang they say about people? Jackie. Let me tell you, be an Efiko and be a Jackie. Because they will always look for you when it's time for serious work. My path, people will say, how did you get on the board of Nestle or Nigerian breweries? How did you get on the board of Guthridge? It's an international, the first non-Indian. How did you get on these boards? I'm like, it's divine favor, but it's also because when people look at your life, they say this person takes themselves seriously. It's tough to try to be excellent all the time, right? I committed to coming here today. Was it easy? Because on Thursday, I was in Abidjan. Friday, I was in Nairobi. I just landed this morning. And I could have said, I'm not going to come. And in fact, I was tempted. I sent her an email saying, but because I'm someone who, once I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. Do you understand? So don't post it on social media, because some people in my house don't know that I'm here. They'll be like, is this how you prioritize? You got off the plane and you're coming to speak. But it's the commitment to say, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Because I take myself seriously, because I try to be excellent. A lot of us have a very low say-do ratio. Have you heard of the say-do ratio? Those in HR know. You say and you do. How many of us say and do? Many of us have too many excuses for why we don't do what we're going to do. And once your say-do ratio is very low, people can't trust you. And when they can't trust you, they can't recommend you. They can't elevate you. They can't vouch for you. If I can't vouch for you, I can't say, Owen will do it because she said she will do it. If I can't do that, then you don't have power. You don't. You have no credibility. And unfortunately, so many of us have a very low say-do ratio. So the importance of excellence in every aspect of your life is critical. Now, is it easy to be excellent in Nigeria? Do we have excuses for why we can't be excellent? There was no lights, no water, traffic. Do we have excuses? Many. But we always know that there will be problems. So let's plan for it. The third thing I'll say is around integrity. And it was mentioned at this panel. I'm sure many people have talked about it. So my husband and I started a company called Ace Foods. I hope all of you use Ace Foods products. please start using our products. Now, I have written 2 books on ethics, and Leap Africa teaches on ethics, and I believe in ethics. But after I started a company, I realized how tough it was to be ethical. In fact, the other day I went and bought a bag of rice, and I weighed it. It said 50 kg. How much was in the bag? Okay, let's start with the one that said 25 kg. It was 20. The one that said 50 kg was like 40. So you make spices and you put 100 kg and 100 grams, and we put 100 grams, but our competitors put 50 grams in theirs, and people say you're too expensive. But they wrote 100 grams. We should put 100 grams. Do you understand? Even where our competitors don't give you chili, they put corn flour, they dye it red with Sudan red that's carcinogenic, and then they put an extract to make it smell like chili, so that it's 1/10 the price of ours in terms of cost. And so, is it easy to be tempted? We do a lot of B2B sales, so our customers say, match that one, match it now, and you know it's not real, you know it can kill people. You're tempted. Every day, are we tempted to be unethical in Nigeria? It's very easy. You're tempted all the time. But if you're someone who is committed to living a life of integrity, it means that your path might be a little slower in the beginning. But when people are looking for who they can trust, when they're looking for someone they can depend on, they'll come to you. So always have an ethical fiber. When I teach ethics, I realize that a lot of young people have cheated. They've taken exams for others. They've lied about their whole CV might be a lie. If you've been doing that, repent. Because God can't take the glory. He can't take the glory on a false foundation. Every time I'm tempted, I realize, you know what? If I want God to be in this thing, I have to be honest. I have to show my hand. So please, please repent. And start from scratch. No relationship can be built. No power can be built on a false foundation. So I've talked about purpose. The second one is what? Excellence. Then ethics, integrity. And then the fourth one is around your mindset. We all talk about a growth mindset. I even tell you to go beyond a growth mindset, to be in legacy mode. Right now I'm in legacy mode. For anybody who's over 40, if you're not in legacy mode, there's a problem. Right? Legacy, because what's the life expectancy in Nigeria? Does anybody know? For women, it's 57. Men, 56. So how many, average, I hope I live beyond that, but I've reached at least halfway, right? So now I'm thinking legacy. What is legacy? What are you leaving behind? What do people say about you when you're not in the room, right? Many of you are saying, I'm too young to think about legacy. No. You start thinking about legacy what? Today. What will you be remembered for? How are you leaving your mark on Nigeria? How are you leaving your mark in your company? How are you leaving your mark everywhere you go? Owen's story about her when she was a youth corporal is so powerful. I started an organization when I was quite young. When I look at what I was doing at 22, I'm like, how did I have that fearlessness? At McKinsey, a large management consulting firm, I was one of the first black people in the Chicago office. And I started a prayer group on Fridays at 7 a.m. Now, it might seem like unusual, prayer group, we do that in our office. In America, prayer group. And who used to come? The assistants, not the managers. And who are the assistants powerful in an office? Very, very powerful. And then I got to Harvard Business School and I started the Africa Business Conference. Today it's the largest business conference in the United States. And why did I start it? Because I felt, there are all these conferences, but nobody's talking about Africa. Now I'm using that as an example to say, the interesting thing is, you say, well, nobody's doing it, so I can't do it. It won't work. She gave you an example. If no one is doing it, there's a gap. If somebody's thinking about it, there's an opportunity. And you should jump at that opportunity. Never say never. Never say I'm not good enough. Never say they won't accept me. Recently, God laid in my heart to write a book. And I said, well, I need to go to and do a senior fellowship somewhere. And I asked some of my mentors, and they said, Harvard Kennedy School has a senior fellowship. And I went on the website, and the deadline had passed. The deadline was in May. God told me about this idea in June. So what did I do? I wrote them. I said, I know I've missed the deadline, but can you still accept my application? And they said, we'll extend the deadline for you for 1 month. Now did I say Harvard? Is it a good school? Who are the other senior fellows? Former Prime Minister of Finland, former chief, I'm the first black African, youngest person, the poorest person to ever do it. But God can see. And what is the power based on? It's a fearlessness. All they can say is what? No. Will it kill me? Absolutely not. I'm going back to the same school to write another book. Now, this one is not even bigger than the first book. Do I have money to write the book? No. What do I have? A fearlessness, that I've been sent for a purpose higher than myself. And that when you are fearless, God can use you. If you're going to be ethical, you're going to be excellent, you're going to be focused, you're going to be disciplined, and you're committed to leaving a legacy. So you're not living for yourself. And that's my final point. We can't live for ourselves. You can't have any power if all you care about is yourself. I can assure you I have people in my life who I have zero power. Do you know why? And zero influence. Because all they care about is themselves. And it's evident. What they're going to eat, what they're going to drive, the money in their bank account. They come to you when they need something. They don't ask, what do you need? When they call you for their advice, they don't say, how are you doing? How many of you are like that? Repent. You have power when you seem like you don't need, when you want to give, when you care about the other, when you're in legacy mode saying, how can I make somebody else's life? How can I solve a problem? That's when you have power. Every organization I've started, Leap Africa, Ace Foods, recently the Center for Memories, which is a museum in Enugu, I'm so excited about what they're doing, right? Everything I've done with others is really because I'm focused on the other person, and people see that. And I'm not worried about money. I've never taken a job because of money. I've never taken a position because of money. Even the boards, I don't ask them how much are they going to pay. Please don't ask people what they're going to pay. Be worried about what? What are you going to do there? How much value are you going to add? How much authority do you have? Is there a budget? Can you have influence? Once you get all of those things done, that opens doors. It took the Nestle board to get me on the India board because an investor based in Singapore met me and found out I was on the Nestle board. Did Nestle pay a much? Not at all. But from that, it opened doors to international opportunities. So never, the people who ask me, when I ask, oh, I have a position, and they say, what is the pay? Am I interested in those people? They have what? A small mind. They don't see legacy. They don't see future. So change your mindset. Commit to being in legacy mode, in the growth mindset where you're learning, you're growing, you're challenging yourself every day. And if I had to add one final point, surround yourself with people who are going to the same place you're going to. It means you're going to lose some of the relationships you have. Some people will not go with you on that journey, right? Because some people have what? A smaller mindset. I'm sure that since Owen became CEO, she's had to reassess her friends list, right? It doesn't mean she's going to leave some of the... In fact, in Lagos, when I meet you, if you don't have friends that you've had since nursery school, there's a problem, right? So there's some friends. My best friend is since I was 6 years old. She's still my best friend today. I've met some of Owen's friends. I know the depth of those relationships. But there are people who are also not going to be your friends where you're going because their mindset is too small. So they see negative. They don't see opportunity. They see problems, right? And there's a jealousy. There's a cattiness. They're not builders. I've had the same prayer partner for 19 years, and I met her in business school, and we prayed together. Do you understand? I have a circle of friends, women who uphold each other. At the beginning of every year, we sit together for one day, and we evaluate each person's life, our goals, our objectives, our ambitions, and we hold each other accountable. You need to build a circle of influence around you. Women who share your vision, share your values, and are going somewhere. And they're not competing. They're going to uphold you and you're going to rise together. You need that. You cannot have power and influence if you don't surround yourself with a strong support network because it takes a village. And really, that's my message to you today. It's really, really important, my sisters. In this life is not easy, Owen said. And it's getting harder. Do you know why it's getting harder? Because the men are more threatened than ever before. Everywhere I go to speak at a graduation, the first 5 prizes are women. So what is happening? The men are not going to let you take all the power. So there's a rattling. And all my single friends are facing that. My married friends are facing it. So now, more than ever before, you need to commit to what we call soft power. You don't have to wield it. You use wisdom. Use wisdom to make your influence heard. And I know all of you will be extremely successful. God bless you all.